Morning, this is the Bell Trail, an old cattle drive route for bringing cattle down from the Mogollon Rim along the watercourse into the Verdi Valley. And I'm going to break here today to talk an anime.
Comic Party. Comic Party is a contemporary high school comedy aimed squarely at the rabid manga fanbase. The anime opens with a dream reference to the two-heart game in anime, which is a really bad sign to those like me who haven't seen it. Kazuki Sendo is a high school boy just starting his senior year. He has the dull, weak personality of soggy Melba toast. Cute Mizuki is his longtime neighbor and childhood friend, energetic and loyal. Taishi is their mutual friend, a domineering, bombastic promoter completely lacking in self-doubt. He's that friend who's always talking you into doing something stupid. Taishi also sprinkles his speech with loud exhortations and English catchphrases, of which the most popular is, "My brother." One day, Taishi simply drags Kazuki and Mizuki off to do something interesting. They drop their previous plans and jump on a train with him, God knows why. That something interesting turns out to be the Comic Party, this anime's not really disguised version of the Comic Cat amateur manga exhibition. Mizuki is appalled when after 3 hours standing on line at the exhibition hall, it turns out that it's hot, smelly, and crowded inside. Kazuki doesn't fare much better until he meets Yu, an established amateur manga artist who drafts Kazuki into helping out at her table. In one of those anime coincidences, the very next week Yu will transfer not just into the same school, but into the same class as Kazuki and Mizuki. Later, Kazuki will recall Yu's joy at selling copies of her comic. He'll recall that he used to draw too, and he decides to try his hand at a manga himself. Off-screen, Taishi gloats at the fulfillment of his plot. Rounding out the cast, there's Amy, a conceited doujinshi artist, rival, who'll autograph just about anything put in front of her whether she's asked to or not. Maya, a shy, quiet artist who's also new to the hobby and shares a table with Kazuki at their first exhibition. Plus, there's a gaggle of pretty girls from the cosplay cafe where Kazuki takes a part-time job in order to make enough money to pay for his manga. Lastly, these two obnoxious otaku have a recurring role so he can feel superior to someone. My favorite among the minor cast is Jii-san, who does deliveries for the print shop. She's so incompetent at pushing her cart, Japan should fear the day when she gets her driver's license. She has the cuteness locked up, of course, and I like the way she talks earnestly about Mr. Ink and Mr. Paper understand the feelings Kazuki puts into his comic book. Apparently, the offset printer is quite the discerning art critic. Comic Party is the story of Kazuki's indoctrination into the world of doujinshi as he learns to seek his own style, accept rejection, balance his hobby with his schoolwork, and enjoy the camaraderie of others.
そんなんを演出せなあかんで。こんなこともあるかと思うてな、ちゃんと用意してあるんや。じゃん月経50部希少品。あとは明るくハキハキした呼び込みや。ほらあんたも立ち読みでも何でも手に取らせたら勝ちなんやから。はい。
Comic Party also has a minor romance subplot. Mizuki is a little frustrated that she can't get a relationship with Kazuki to go from childhood pal to girlfriend, and he more and more ignores her or takes her for granted as he cancels concerts and other plans with her to work hard on his doujinshi project, a world which seems to exclude Mizuki. Somehow, this also turns into a bit of a harem show. I never knew comic book conventions were such great places to pick up chicks. Don't worry, eventually we'll get to the beach too. The anime really doesn't have anything that might be considered an ending, but it didn't have a very strong plot to follow anyway, so you probably won't miss that. This introduction from the manga may have been hoping for a longer run. Comic Party was directed by Norihiko Sudo, who more recently helmed the piano. I said at the start that Comic Party was a comedy, but it's really more of a light high school story with a few chuckles here and there. At least I didn't find any big laughs in it. Kazuki is not much of a main character. He's rudderless, drifting aimlessly with no plans or passions of his own. His conversion to manga artist was actually someone else's idea, and it never really seems to be an important passion to him. Each time he sits down to draw, his goal is just to draw something. There's no story he's been ardently inspired to tell. He needs to think up something just to have an excuse to pick up the pencil. He's also a bit of a jerk, blowing off his longtime loyal girlfriend for every whim of his new hobby, and he reacts to disappointment by sulking around everyone else. Yet the story has all the other characters revolve around him. It's a slice-of-life anime, and the slices are fairly thin. The Right Stuff has released Comic Party in North America on 4 DVDs, with 3 episodes per DVD, with 4 on the final DVD. That's a total of 13 episodes. The English voices don't have the same passion as the Japanese soundtrack, and Taishi's liberal use of English just can't come through in the English dub, so I suggest the Japanese soundtrack. Each DVD also has a bony mini-episode, about 7 to 10 minutes long each. These form a comic parody of the show in which the characters find themselves falling into the center of the earth to find the ruins of an ancient civilization that sold doujinshi on clay tablets. This short, bizarro world takeoff on the story actually made me laugh, and I thought it was the best thing about the DVDs, which is sad.
This place is really big. I wonder what they could have used it for. Huh? But this looks just like...
The Right Stuff cleverly designed the case to open manga style to the right, which is really just a matter of how you print the cover. There's a thin booklet inside to explain some of the in-jokes and references you may have missed, complete with numbered pictures and circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. Those explanations can also be found as translator notes on the DVDs themselves.
Thanks for watching.